If you like the barbering, do it because it pays and it's a good thing. You understand? Yeah, that's something you can rely on because people are going to always want to cut them hair. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a real good thing. Trust me. If you want to find a barbershop, you have to come to Mount Togo, right at the square Mount Togo. That's where my barbershop is. And it's Honduras Barber. Yeah. And once you come Mount Togo, you say, we're Pony Barbershop there, you will find it.
Next week, we'll provide another highlight that will make an entrepreneur's night right. Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
I'm Curlin Brown. Let's continue to inspire Jamaica. And of course, where else will you see it? CVM TV, of course.
For joining us for CVM News at Noon. It's Thursday, the 2nd of July, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this afternoon, Senior Parish Court Judge Sankia Burrell has ordered that the long-delayed trial of former Education Minister Ruel Reed and his co-accused resume on October 5 this year, warning that the matter must proceed on that date. The trial, which began in October 2025, has seen little progress due to repeated scheduling issues. Justice Burrell said all attorneys must be present or represented so proceedings can continue. Now, Reed, his wife and daughter Sharon and Cheryl Reed, Councillor Kim Brown Lawrence, and former Caribbean Maritime University CMU President Fritz Pinnock are accused of participating in a scheme that allegedly defrauded the Ministry of Education and CMU of more than $25 million between 2016 and 2019. Prosecutors also allege that fraudulent payments were made for work and services never provided, with funds transferred to accounts linked to the accused. More than 90 witnesses are expected to testify. Advocacy group The With Children Foundation FWCF is calling for the immediate resignation of Ascot Primary School Principal Mark Jackson after a video obtained by our newsroom showed several students being treated differently during the school's recent graduation ceremony. It's understood that students who achieved higher proficiency scores in the recent Primary Exit Profile PEP exams wore graduation gowns, while those with lower scores were required to wear their school uniforms and were made to march behind their gown-clad peers. FWCF says it also reviewed messages sent to the principal before the ceremony, in which a concerned parent warned that the decision would negatively affect the children's emotional well-being. In response, it's being alleged that the principal described the situation as, quote, a hard pill to swallow, but said the approach would encourage students to work harder. Now, Youth Policy Committee Chair at the Foundation, Sabrina Barnes, has rejected that explanation, arguing that publicly segregating children based on academic performance is discriminatory, damaging to their self-esteem, and contrary to their rights. The controversies.
The public humiliation of children has no place in Jamaica's education system. No child should be singled out or treated differently at a graduation ceremony because of their academic performance. Schools are meant to nurture every child's dignity, build confidence, and celebrate each student's progress. Educational leaders are entrusted with protecting the rights, dignity, and well-being of every child. When those responsibilities are undermined, accountability and not a mere apology is required. In light of the seriousness of this incident, the For Children Foundation believes the only appropriate course of action is for Principal Jackson to tender his immediate resignation. We will continue to stand firmly for the rights and best interests of every child.
Meanwhile, the controversy surrounding the graduation ceremony at Ascot continues to fuel debate over fairness in schools. Now, while acknowledging the decision was wrong, Jamaica Teachers Association JTA President Mark Malava says the incident is part of a much wider problem affecting the country's education system.
I believe that our outreach as a society has been selective and borders on hypocrisy. And the reason why I'm saying this is that we have long practiced an apartheid education system, long before this matter. For example, when schools are better funded than other schools, that is an apartheid education. That is apartheid education system.
Questions about conduct inside Parliament continue to dominate public discussion following recent clashes in the House of Representatives. Political analyst Dr. Nadine Spence says the issue goes beyond procedure, arguing respect for the office is the Speaker or of the Speaker is essential to maintaining order.
The disrespect that is being meted out to the Speaker and the importance of these things called the standing orders and whether or not the problem that is now being experienced in respect of the order to be maintained in Parliament is a result of the standing orders being in need of revision, or is it a result of disrespect being meted out to the Speaker?
The opposition is renewing its criticism of the government's decision to transfer $500 million from the Financial Services Commission, arguing the move could have far-reaching consequences for consumers. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson says the fallout could be felt through higher insurance costs.
It is a poor decision. If you go back to that committee meeting and you listen to what the FSC said itself, it said that the withdrawal of $500 million imperiled its financial position. It's not my words. I didn't make that up. They said that. And now they have moved to solidify their position by increasing their fees. In one case, and this is a real example, and a CEO of a local company told me this, they're moving from a flat fee of $500,000 a year to paying the FSC close to $120 million per year, because the nature of the charges have changed, where it is now a percentage of total assets.
Now, the government says the Spark program will modernize roads across the island while improving access for communities and businesses. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, says the multi-billion-dollar initiative is about building infrastructure that supports everyday life and economic growth.
The roads leading to our schools, our hospitals, our town centers, our markets, plazas, government services, transport hundreds of thousands of people and facilitates billions of dollars of economic activity. So Spark is a $45 billion infrastructure program. And for the first time in Jamaica's history, over 300 community roads are now in the process of being constructed.
It's time now for a break. More when we come back.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are mash up the night. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Welcome back to CVM News at Noon. The opposition, People's National Party, is raising concerns about recent proceedings in the House of Representatives, arguing that key procedural decisions raise questions about the fair and consistent application of parliamentary standing orders. Now, the party says its leader of opposition business, Philip Paulwell, was not fully heard when he sought to raise a procedural matter regarding the order paper and the handling of an Integrity Commission report. The opposition is calling for greater clarity and fairness in how parliamentary rules are applied, saying it is essential to maintain confidence in the House. Joining me now via phone, we have a leader of opposition business in Parliament, Philip Paulwell. Good afternoon, Sir Paulwell.
Hi, good afternoon to you and to your viewers.
Why is it that the opposition believe its members are being silenced?
Well, it is the way the Speaker conducts the House. In recent times, we have observed, and I myself have suffered, as you noted on Tuesday, where a simple question that I'm trying to ask was denied. Now, on every agenda item in the Parliament, anybody, any one of us, 63 of us, ought to be able to make inquiries as to some of the actual things that are being done. So, for example, on the announcement on Tuesday, I got up to ask the question why a certain report was not tabled. I wasn't even allowed to ask the question. And that is how the Parliament has been conducted in the last year or so. It cannot be that as elected representatives, we have to keep our mouths shut and we just allow the Parliament to go without any questions being allowed to be raised. And also, when you do get up to raise issues, people are raising the issue of relevance and so on. It has been unfair, and we are going to be protesting it every week that we go there.
One of the things we've been hearing repeatedly from the House Speaker is that the opposition members are going against the standing orders. Is that so, Sir Paulwell, and what specific standing orders are they?
Yes, so let me say, the standing orders as we have them now are some rules governing the conduct of Parliament. But if you look at that document is a very brief document. It doesn't contemplate the myriads of things that could arise in a sitting. And so for the years that we have been practicing this Westminster-style parliamentary system,
Sir Paulwell?
and the issue of reasonableness to guide how the Speaker conducts himself or herself. And so the standing orders will be silent on a matter. For example, the issue that I raised on Tuesday as to why a particular report was not tabled. Now, all other speakers would have seen it reasonable for the leader of opposition business to raise that issue, apart from the Speaker, who wants to dictate in a way as to prevent members from utilizing those same rules to get proper answers and to enable us to make proper representation on behalf of our constituents.
So is it that you believe these incidents amount to political bias?
It is clear bias. We are going to be going through a process now of reviewing the standing order So what is going to happen is that we are going to have to make provision for almost everything you can think of in these new standing orders. So it's going to be quite a bulky document. But as opposition, we are going to ensure that our rights and the democracy that we are seeking to preserve can be enhanced. So we are meeting next week in the Standing Orders Committee meeting, and we are hoping that over a relatively short period of time we can complete this work and to have in place new standing orders that will make it clear some of these issues that are now left to the discretion of the Speaker.
So we see where the opposition has requested that Hansard and official recordings be reviewed. What exactly you think we'll find or these recordings will show? Well,
on Tuesday, there was a vote that was being conducted, at which time the opposition exercised its right to divide on a particular vote. Now, the way to get a division is to shout out at the time when the vote is taken that we are divided. We did that. The Speaker ignored it, and we therefore asked that Hansard, which is the reporting of the proceedings in Parliament, be provided to see whether or not they had it recorded. Up to now, we have not yet gotten that report from Hansard. We're quite clear that we have shouted for a divide. When you call for divide, it means that the matter must be put to the vote so that individual members can record their approval or non-approval of the matter that is being voted on. To date, we did not get that report back from Hansard. And it can't be that a sitting of the House can be disrupted in this way without Hansard being able immediately to provide the clarification. So again, the system has to be modified to enable Hansard to be far more efficient than we saw on Tuesday.
So that Integrity Commission report you mentioned at the last sitting, explain to me why exactly it is that you have an issue with the non-tabling of the report during the last sitting.
All right, so this wasn't an investigation report. This was the annual report from the Integrity Commission. It is a report that is presented at the end of June, and it is normally tabled as it arrives. There's no need for the Speaker to go through the report to see if the report is okay. This is a report that she cannot change. And it is not about any particular investigation. It is just the IC, Integrity Commission, reporting on its activities for the year. I see no reason why that report could not have been tabled. It having reached the Parliament on the Monday before. I just believe that it is a case where people are just being intransigent, people are being stubborn, and not allowing for the parliamentary process to be as transparent and open as possible.
So, Sir Paul, well, we understand that the Speaker said the reports would be tabled immediately and the opposition was actually informed of that. Is that so?
Not at all, not at all. The report came in on Monday, so Tuesday would not be viewed as immediately. If you have the report for 24 hours, there's no need for it to have to wait another week for tabling, you know? So if the report had come in on Tuesday morning, then of course we would understand. But the report came in from Monday, and we now have to wait until next week, Tuesday, before the country can see that report, which is not, again, an investigation that was being done. It is just the activities of the Integrity Commission that are being reported on.
How do you respond to those who may say that this type of behavior forms part of parliamentary debate?
Well, you know, in other parliaments that we see as examples, we don't see where, especially the opposition, who need more protection than the government because we are in the minority. We don't see where protection is granted. We don't see where the Speaker behaves in such a biased and unfair manner. And all we are calling upon our Speaker to be is to be reasonable, to be fair, not to grant protection to the government side, and to ignore us and to allow us to speak as we are elected to do. We are there to represent our people, and we are going to be insisting on it.
Sir Paulwell, just before you go, former House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert, we saw where she stood in Parliament since week, and she was pretty much taking issue with what she described as the disrespect towards a woman who is our House Speaker, Ms. Juliet Holness. What's your reaction to the comments or remarks made by former House Speaker?
Well, I think that issue came out of the issue that I stood on, which was the Speaker denying me the right to ask a question. And it's unfortunate that that matter came up because the former Speaker actually named a member of the opposition for, according to her, bad behavior.
And the name that she mentioned was, I believe, MP Nikisha Burchell, correct?
Yes, she mentioned the member from South St. James. Now, let me say this. We have to be careful how we single out individuals for this type of criticism in the way that it was done, because Ms. Burchell is trying to be a good representative for our people. She has been strident, she has been energetic, she has been assertive, and sometimes these things are misunderstood for according to some people, for being disrespectful to the Speaker. I don't think she's been disrespectful to the Speaker. I think she has tried her best to cooperate and to ensure that her voice is heard. And that's all that we are all trying to do, to make sure that our voices are not silent and that we have the opportunity to represent our people as we're elected to do.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Paulwell. That was Leader of Opposition Business in the House of Representatives, Philip Paulwell. Thanks again, Sir Paulwell.
Thank you, too.
We go now to news overseas, where there's been an explosion near the Central Court Complex in Damascus, also known as the Palace of Justice. The Syrian State News Agency says at least 5 people have been killed.